Hello and welcome back to the Blue Eyed Guy Gaming News Show. Today it's another gaming news. Destiny release date has been confirmed for 9th of September 2014. So, we've been waiting for Destiny for quite a while now. We knew it was going to be a next gen game because they've been working on it for a long time, they've been waiting. But now we've finally got a release date, so it's going to be summer of 2014 next year. Christmas is coming. Xbox One has been released and PS4 has been released. There have been problems with Xbox One and PlayStation 4 that they are working on at the moment. There are also problems with Battlefield 4 across all platforms. PC has been reviewed of Battlefield 4 and it's getting better. It's not perfect on Battlefield 4, like the servers and that for multiplayer on PC, but it's nearly getting there. On the consoles, there's crashing of servers. You join a server and it crashes, or you are unable to join any servers at all. But I haven't got Battlefield 4, obviously. Call of Duty Ghosts has been said to not be any different from the Xbox 360 edition or any of the others. I'm not sure if that is correct, but people have reviewed the game and they say that the graphics are basically the same, so just be aware of that. The most promising games of 2014. Once it's come up. Alright. So these are... Alright. Looking forward to the New Year festivities. We can't wait to put them well and truly behind us. 2014 is absolutely riddled with promising Xbox One games, some of which were originally and tantalisingly slated to launch alongside the console. In the following beam-off of a feature, we round up coverage of the most scintillating specimens. If you're more interested in what's currently available for the new Xbox, consider one of the lists so far. Alright, so Destiny. It's easy to be cynical about Destiny. Halo with cloaks was how some greeted the game's first screenshots, and the developers could perhaps have done more to dispel that impression in interviews, which have been characterised by grand promises and, until recently at least, a shortage of real detail. Still, what we know is tremendously exciting. The game takes place in the aftermath of humanity's golden age, with the tenets of our species confined to a single city on Earth, protected by an enormous alien sphere known only as the Traveller. As a guardian, your job is to head out into the solar system and reclaim its secrets and riches from the motley alien races that have taken up residence in the wreckage of our ancient colonies. Bungie wants this to feel like your very own personal saga, and it's possible to play entirely solo if you choose, but there's a smart behind-the-scenes drop-in multiplayer system that recalls Dark Souls Enter a Public Zone, and you may spontaneously fall in with a fellow guardian on the same quest. There's also competitive multiplayer in which the game's human factions do battle, plundering the depths of ruined Enderseas and Space Hulks are likely to be the game's key attraction. These are home to sentient machines created before the collapse. icky Zerg-style burrowing horrors and devastating weapons that may be hundreds of years old. The idea is to give a sci-fi shooter the sense of magic and mystery you'd expect of a fantasy RPG. The gunplay itself is unlikely to disappoint, matching Bungie's proven abilities in this department to a set of skill trees or foci that grant access to special moves like a teleport. Destiny's hook is very simple. It's an opportunity for great adventure, providing the multiplayer isn't too intrusive and the environments are labyrinthian enough to reward repeated play. This should be an FPS worthy of the studio's unrivaled pedigree. Tom Clancy's The Division. Ubisoft is beginning to make a habit of stopping the show. Last year, Watch Dogs was the one blast of oxygen in a suffocating, tedious E3. This year, the publisher revealed another new title, The Division, that feels... Sorry about this. Came up with a page. So this year, the publisher revealed another new title, The Division, that feels just as modest and revolutionary. It seems Ubisoft to create a new genre, the third-person cover page-based gadget, led typical tactical MMO RPG shooter. The world's population has been decimated by a virus released by an unnamed terrorist, the Division. Meanwhile, it's a group of secret soldiers created under Presidential Directive 51. Put simply, it's a directive that gives the government unlimited power to perpetuate itself in the event of a national catastrophe. You're not alone. You're surrounded by friends, enemies and potentially infected citizens in the ravaged streets of a New York where everything has failed. Ownerless dogs rummage through bin bags, hopeless people shuffle past. Progress along the deserted streets is cautious, because as well as being a third-person shooter, this is an MMO, and you never know when you'll run into another hostile group. Powered by Snowdrop, Ubisoft's next-gen only engine, the Division looks outstanding. Imagine a souped-up version of the holographic UI of Dead Space, incorporated into the world in a way that eliminates the need for numbers and bars in the corners of the screen. Even the map is incorporated into the world. Blue light sprays it onto the ground, showing a 3D scale diagram of your surroundings. When gunshots sound, the citizens cower and flee the area, leaving you to deal with the threat. This being a Tom Clancy game, gadgets play a serious role. Passing citizens can be scanned for infection and corpses can be analysed for the cause of death. An optical pulse allows you to briefly highlight enemies in a 60-meter radius, and noisemakers bring AI characters outside. Roll a seeker mine vaguely towards your enemy, and it will find its way to their feet. As this is an RPG, situations call for a balance of different classes, heavy, support, and so on. None are fixed, and you can respec your character at any time. You can play solo, but online is everywhere. You can join group events, craft and sell weapons, and be pulled into impromptu PvP battles with other groups. Exciting stuff, more soon we head. Titanfall. Jason West and Vince Zampella cast a long shadow across the games industry after leaving Infinity Ward and Activision amid acrimony and migration. The pressure is on to create a new series to top Call of Duty, one of the most entrenched console franchises around. The solution: bring on the mechs. Humanity is spread across Earth and a number of frontier planets, where District 9 aesthetic hosts a battle for resources between corporate interests and a group of local resistance. Ground combat is between Agri, super fast soldiers who are just as comfortable running along walls as the floor, aided by legions of AI and powerful weapons that can dissolve multiple targets at the same time. And then there are the 24 feet high Titan mechs, which are able to dodge responsibly while they spray the battlefield with ordnance. It's chaotic, exciting, and a bit terrifying. Though outmatched in one-on-one fight, pilots aren't defenseless against the Titans. Each class has an extra tier of anti-Titan weaponry, a rocket launcher for instance, plus a data knife that can hack AI enemies into joining your team. The battlefield will be a healthy mix of AI and player characters, and newcomers will be pampered by a system that makes deaths fewer and farther between. The action is relentless. From the first drop from orbit into the battlefield, the adrenaline never stops pumping. Players rush to capture points, pausing to summon a Titan as you'd activate a kill streak in Call of Duty. Heavily armoured but far from impregnable, a barrage of rockets will take one down. They're more than just mobile turrets. Friendly troops can hitch a ride, hanging on to the back, and successful meleeing another mech yanks its pilot out and tosses them aside. It's recognisable a relative of COD, thanks to the 60 frames per second frame rate and frantic pace, but the jetpack aided leaps and wall runs along with the open maps and futuristic ruins add a dash of Halo, all the ingredients in fact for the team to redefine online shooting once again. Watch Dogs. The open world city hacking game blew our minds at E3 2012, even though we were all left guessing about precisely what was going on. Now we've actually see it running on Now we are actually seeing it run on Xbox One, and it looks entirely fantastic, more than living up to expectations. As you wonder, Paul, unexpecting Chicago in the guise of Uber insurgent Alden Pierce, hack prompts appear over practically every person or device you look at. Those can be meddled with to access side missions. You could eavesdrop on a text message to learn of a shady backstreet deal, for instance, or to disrupt the city's enforcers during a chase by turning all the traffic lights green at a busy junction, for instance. You can also virtually visit a friend who's about to get attacked by Chicago's finest, and from your position in his video phone, hack the other objects to help him escape by creating a diversion. One new feature shown at this year's E3 was that if you are in trouble, you can request help. The game will search for someone playing the tablet version of the game, and they'll be presented with your city grid. They can then interfere with the world's patterns, for example by lapping on a pursuing helicopter to short its circuits, or erecting barriers in the path of pursuing police cars. Crucial to progress is the infiltration and conquering of guarded substations. An urban take on Far Cry 3's radio towers, which create opportunities in the surrounding area once they fall. Get into a substation using stealth or violence, hack it, and all the locals will suddenly display inviting profiles over their heads, indicating that you can digitally molest them. Most exciting of all perhaps, is a seamless multiplayer. At any time another player can enter your world and attempt to hack your phone, disguised as an NPC. You'll need to hunt them down to stop the hack, or else you'll be a digital sculpt to boost their status and in-game abilities. It's a shame Ubisoft had to push this game back to next year, because Watch Dogs could be the strongest early contender for the best open world game on Xbox One. The Crew. Wisely avoiding direct confrontation with Forza 5 and Need for Speed Rivals. Sorry about this. This is why I hate Xbox. It's just logged me out of Internet Explorer for some reason. On. I think it was on. Yeah, Watch Dogs. Come on, you. What the hell? There we go. Oh yeah, Crew. Wisely avoiding direct confrontation with Forza 5 and Need for Speed Rivals, Ubisoft's open world racer is an intriguing prospect for next year. The good stuff comes from DNA Rich in Test Drive Unlimited. Developer Ivory Tower was born from the remains of Eden Games, and the Crew shows a similar flair for online play. Challenging you, and if you wish, a team of up to 3 others to pull off daredevil automotive feats across America. During our brief time in the driver's seat, our group took on low-stakes tasks like quick checkpoint-based races and a speed-inspired minigame, where we had to zoom along while avoiding collisions with other cars or elements in the environment. There will also be teamwork-intensive missions where you have to work more closely with others to take down a target vehicle. A blast through Kansas showed how enjoyable it is to cut through cornfields and tear it up on narrow, dusty roads. The bad bits, alas, are also from Test Drive Unlimited. Handling is floaty and imprecise, even on cars modified for flat-out speed rather than off-road mud plugging. Hopefully it will get a tune-up for Christmas. Halo. Here's everything we currently know about Halo on Xbox One. It runs at 60 frames a second, stars Master Chief, who's developed a fondness for ruggedy knitwear, offers dedicated servers for multiplayer, and makes use of the Xbox Live Cloud. Beyond that, we're in the dark. The title's pedigree is second to none, however, making this an unquestionable, if underworded, pick for our most anticipated shooter sequel of 2014. Hopefully Microsoft will have more to say on the subject after getting Titanfall out of the way in the spring. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. The Phantom Pain will be the biggest leap for the Metal Gear Solid series since it began. Not only are the lengthy cutscenes being traded for, or at least made somewhat secondary to, an open, explorable world, but legendary voice actor David Hayler has been retired, much to fan horror, and replaced by Kiefer Sutherland. With a storyline that features scenes of torture, child soldiers, and brutal executions, The Phantom Pain probably isn't for the faint-hearted, though we're sure there will be the usual off-the-wall flourishes players have come to expect from Kojima's work. Snake's dark-hearted mission is to raise a private army. To do that, he'll have to come to terms with Afghanistan. You'll get quite accustomed to using your binoculars, says Snake's companion, in a piece of expeditional dialogue that probably should have been preceded by a gameplay tip. Many of the new characters have fantastically prosaic Kojima names, such as Code Talker, Skullface, and the only female character in the demo is called Quiet. This is your cue if you are an idiot to make a sexist joke. Returning characters are in the mix too. Emmerich and Revolver Ocelot are down to make an appearance on the battlefield. So what happened to Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes? In a twist as confusing and unspoken as any of the Kojima Productions trailers, it now seems that Ground Zeroes will be a prologue, released separately to the Phantom Pain earlier in the year. It'll both prepare players for the events of the main game and establish some of the systems and mechanics that will energize that open world. Sounds like you'll want to earn both then. Project Spark, Microsoft's kid-friendly game making tool, is coming to Xbox 360 as well as Xbox One. Anything you can make can be shared and played on both, but the next-gen version has a couple of unique features. Using the new Kinect 2.0, you can add personalized motion capture and voiceover to any hero, NPC or enemy, and use those animations to create custom cutscenes and gameplay. We had the chance to see these new features in action during a recent demo and were impressed by just how effortless the entire process seemed. Kinect picked up both body and facial gestures with relative ease, and after recording your animation you can crop what you've captured, editing the marked in and out points as necessary to achieve the desired cinematic result. And afterwards you can share your creations online, allowing friends to edit or enjoy them as they see fit. Project Spark wants to offer as many options to build, create and share as it possibly can, but also aims to make things easy for you if you simply want to play. Crossroads mode, designed for that very procedurally generates a game world that's tailored for you as you go along. Operating almost like a choose-your-own-adventure book, Crossroads mode will periodically pause to ask you multiple choice questions about what kind of quest you fancy attempting. You'll choose your hero, gameplay mechanics, locations and enemies, and you have the option to place them down on the map before setting out. Side quests, where you can hunt treasure or collect hidden items, will also spawn along the way for even more choice. Plenty of creative types will no doubt instantly overload Crossroads mode to get straight down to constructing their own games. They may even look down their noses if you choose to have a helping hand, but for all those of us who bulk at building entire worlds from a blank canvas, or simply don't have the time or dedication, Crossroads mode is a comforting and enticing inclusive. Nothing wrong with that. Kinect Sports Rivals. Kinect 2.0 needs a friend fighting its corner right now, and developer Rare, as with the original Kinect Sports, has created one of the best examples of the new device's potential and easily the most entertaining. The new mini-games, including the wake racing, now available on the pre-seasonal trial, and wall climbing, are easily as entertaining as previous efforts. but they're almost overshadowed by the new Create a Champion feature, which scans a stylized version of you into the game world, starting with a full body scan before moving into a more detailed analysis of your face. It's light years away from bubble-headed avatars. Create a Champion picks up your skin tone, face shape, face size, hair colour, hair mass, and even whether you're wearing glasses or not. The results are really impressive, and even if you do find it unflattering, you can tweak and change your character's appearance before unleashing them on the game's island setting. With our champion created, we moved on to the challenges, which proved less taxing than anticipated. Rare says it doesn't want rivals to be physically exhausting and claims you can play the entire game without standing up. But though you move less, your movements matter more, as each event calls for precise actions. It's physical enough to be fun, particularly on rock climbing, when you can yank other players off the cliff as you pass, but much less labour intensive, mostly because Kinect doesn't need repeated wild flails to register movement anymore. Microsoft is smarter about how it's used too. You can now use the controller for menu navigation rather than wasting time trying to select things. Rare has also lent on Xbox One's cloud features in a similar fashion to Forza 5, capturing your performance and creating a virtual you for people to compete with. Every opponent you face is another player plucked from the cloud to be as close as challenge as possible, hence the Rivals suffix. It's built for people who've bought on Xbox at launch, says Rare's Simon Woodruff, rather than the families who came to Xbox 360 late in its life, and that means a focus on the competition. Early signs suggest that it's a winner. The Witcher 3. How big is the open world of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt? 35 times larger is the eye-widening stat thrown around by a characterizing confident CD Projekt. The game takes place across 7 islands, each on average 5 times larger than the entire previous game, and will evolve to reflect player choices as you go about slaying beasts, dabbed in local politics, and unravelling the mystery of the Wild Hunt. A demonic a demonic posse who've made off with the love of your life. CD Projekt promises that this world isn't just open, but packed with side quests, random encounters, and curious crannies to fare around in. All that is separate from the story, but that doesn't mean it's trivial. Returning frontman Geralt of Rivia will meddle in the affairs of individuals, families, villages, and cities, all the time guided by the complex morality system, unconstrained by notions of nice and naughty. Good intentions don't always lead to good outcomes. Sometimes being an arsehole causes less suffering. Another exciting thing about The Witcher 3, apart from how stunning the landscapes are, is a lack of waypoint hunting. The world uses those gorgeous vistas to beckon you in. It demands to be explored, and it will reward you with clues to new areas to visit and beasts to discover. There's a new, more fleshed out hunting system that requires you to first identify your quarry's trail, then prepare an appropriate ambush or assault. Sometimes this is woven into a side story, as when Geralt must nobble a creature that will eventually resurrect itself unless the person marked by it is similarly disposed of. Our demo at this year's E3 was easily the most impressive from a technical point of view, showing off a world that rivals Skyrim's scope, matched to the combat system that's pacier and more tactical than that of The Witcher 2, providing the boggling array of side quests don't get boring. This could be next year's finest single-player RPG. The Elder Scrolls Online. Once it comes up properly, there we go. After almost 20 years of single player, The Elder Scrolls is making the jump to massively online multiplayer, and it's come to Xbox One in spring 2014. 3 alliances comprised of 9 playable races will struggle for control of Tamriel, while the Daedric Prince Molag Bal schemes to unleash oblivion on the domination of mere mortals. I'm about to charge my blooming controller. Alright. ZeniMax has promised that you can choose your own style of play. If you prefer to wander the land alone as in Skyrim, you can, or you can explore the open world and its hidden dungeons with friends and treasure hunters. Or go head to head and spell to sword in huge PvP battles. The game is built to accommodate hundreds of players on screen at once. 3 playable factions pit you against both the Empire and one another to gain control over the Imperial City and White God Tower from the Dark Forces of Oblivion. You can choose between the Daggerfall Covenant, comprising the Bretons, the Redguards and the Orcs, the Ebonheart Pact, which joins the Nords with the Dark Elves and the Angonians, and the Aldmeri Dominion, which sees the Khajiit, the High Elves and the Wood Elves team up. Each alliance boasts its own unique story, location, skills and goals. Factions can seize control of Elder Scrolls to give buffs and bonuses in battle. Each alliance has a stronghold in Cygardil, where the Elder Scrolls are stored and protected, and from which enemies players can steal them if security is lacked. Once a scroll is taken, it must be borne away across Cryodil and placed on the new alliance's stronghold before bonuses will take effect. Sounds like Capture the Flag, doesn't it? Power-hungry PvPers are also reign supreme. When a faction takes control of the Imperial City, the highest ranking player of that faction is crowned Emperor. These chosen rulers gain special abilities to help them on the battlefield, which lasts until they are eventually dethroned by an ambitious usurper. The biggest fly is the ointment right now is that we have to pay a subscription on top of an Xbox Gold membership to play, but considered separately to its payment model, at least the Elder Scrolls Online seems incredibly tempting. So that's shit. Basically, why would you pay on top of Xbox Gold? More money! Quantum Break. Remedy has revealed a few more details of its mysterious time-bending adventure, chief among them protagonist Jack Joyce. The survivor of a failed experiment that killed his brother, Jack possesses the ability to interfere with time and uses his powers to rescue a woman caught in a wreckage. He can also, per the latest footage, bend time, which embroiled in Gear-style over-the-shoulder gunplay to stop an exploding car in mid-air, for example. Though the excerpt we've been shown around in real time in engine, we're waiting for information on precisely how the game and its accompanying live action elements will play out together. They'll both be released on the same disc, and the live action story will branch depending on your actions in the game. Remedy's creative director Sam Lake states the company is taking things that are familiar from other mediums, from movies and books, that have never been experienced in interactive forms. In the game, your choice is to find your director's cut of the show. Remedy has a lot of prior form when it comes to eccentric sci-fi action titles, so this should be an utterly fascinating game. If not necessary, a cast iron guaranteed 10 out of 10. It's also the figurehead for Microsoft's plans to somehow merge non-interactive and interactive entertainment on Xbox One. So the degree to which critics and customers warm to it will have long-term ramifications to the manufacturer. We wish we had more detail to share, hopefully we will soon. Don't forget the list of the best Xbox One games so far and list of all confirmed Xbox One games. Which titles are you especially hungry for? So you can see those best Xbox One games and all confirmed Xbox One games on OXM website. So yeah, this has been a very long episode, the longest episode I've ever done, I think. Or was it the first one that was 40 minutes long, I think? I can't remember. So, yeah. I've been the Blue-Eyed Guy. See you next time. Bye!